Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. We got a great episode for you today. Today, we're getting a chance to sit down with MMA fighter Chris Lee Byrne. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to keep seeing more great guests, athletes, and coaches, make sure you subscribe and don't forget to share. We thank everybody who's joining our community, and we want to keep bringing you more great content. Today's episode is sponsored by Spirit Leaf Waterdown, located at 64 Hamilton Street, North in Waterdown, Ontario. If you're looking for Canada's top cannabis brand, look no further than Alex and his crew. They're going to be able to get you set up on all your favorite brands and products in CBD and THC. Just make sure you go and like them on Instagram and us on Instagram, and you're going to save money every single time you shop there. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Enjoy the show, and we'll see you soon on the mat.
Whenever I'm ready, do it live. Ladies and gentlemen, well, mostly gentlemen, let's be honest. Welcome back to the podcast. And we have an esteemed colleague who has a MMA fight coming up very soon. This is London's finest, Chris Lee Byrne. How you doing? How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Just training lots, hanging out.
So how's the training going? What's going on? How has it been? I know the last 2 years have been crazy, but how's everything going with your training, and how is your camp going?
I haven't really been training the last 2 years, kind of because of the gym situation. I kind of was coaching here and there secretly, or just doing boxing. Really, admits were the easiest thing to do. But I actually listened to the first two lockdowns and closed my gym. So, yeah, I guess I mean all.
look at you following the rules.
But yeah, now I haven't fought for 2 years, you know what I mean? I've obviously shifted more of my focus to MMA now than jiu-jitsu. But yeah, I know I'm back at it hard now. Kind of more too, I think the last couple of years not really being able to train how we always have, all of us, you know, kind of made me kind of sparked me being more focused again, you know, kind of slipped into party lifestyle when I used to go really ham at jiu-jitsu, right? But then I kind of slipped into party lifestyle and just kind of coaching here and there and work or whatever else, you know. And then I think since this COVID stuff, it's kind of sparked that kind of that re-love for training, you know. It's because you had it a lot less, you know.
You don't know what you were missing until it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm training honestly madness, more than I've ever trained before, probably for years, you know. So
do you feel that break was really good for your body? Kind of give it a little bit of a break, heal from some injuries, or were you still kind of still working through some stuff?
I'm always injured. I'm still I'm injured all the time. But no, I think the break I think it was more just, you don't know how, what Mike said, you don't know what it is until it's gone, you know. Not being able to train, not do tournaments, or even I've cornered some fights during flying other places, but I didn't get to fight, you know. So having it kind of coming back, we're gonna have a crowd. BTC's coming to London, so that's gonna be dope. We have that. Lots of people I know. My own training actually rolling now. It's nice. I feel good. I'm in a good spot for it all.
Aaron's gonna hate this next question. So Aaron's a 1-0 amateur MMA fighter.
Oh,
can we get him another fight?
Yeah, right now there's no really to do it, but yes, we could get him a fight. I'd say on BFL in Vancouver, they'd fly.
I'm good. Thank you.
Aaron's retiring undefeated 1-0.
Signing him up. I just sent the message.
He hates my story of his underground fights at the gym that we do not speak of. They had an underground card, and Aaron just beat the living piss out of somebody there. Sorry,
those are sometimes yeah.
Chris, sorry, you cut out there a bit. What did you say?
Amateurs basically illegal now because amateurs are. PFL doesn't. I think I'm in Montreal. That's why I bring my guys, but they're not even doing it right now. Amateur's kind of a shit show. You think pro is more dangerous because it's more elite, I guess you can say, and you can elbow and knee. But amateur, man, the divisions are kind of you never know who's what. You never know who's gonna show up. There's no blood work a lot of the time. You don't
someone
pro.
Might have herpes. You never know.
Yeah. Pro, you're doing EEGs, ECG, X-rays, MRIs, fucking blood work, piss tests. You're doing everything. You know what I mean? Like you're making sure you're a healthy guy. You got to go get a physical, but like there's no commission really on amateur, right? You could just like have them at a sketchy gym and beat up some guy who doesn't know what he's doing.
Is that honestly like the amateur like organizations, like not just in Ontario but like across the country? Like I don't know tons about like the overall amateur MMA scene, like the professional scene. Like it's been kind of like ebb and flow. Like there's been times where they've been building it up and there's been times where like commissions have come in. So like what's been your experience with like just not just finding yourself fights, because I know you've had a hard time with it, but even just finding a lot of your guys fights too? Like
right now, Mundo Jiu-Jitsu, I think, is probably the most active team in the country for MMA, period. Like for Canadian teams, because every Canadian show that happens, we have at least 2 or 3 pros on it. And every amateur show, we put like 4 or 5, 6 guys on. Like we're like probably the smallest team, but it's all active dudes. You know what I mean? So, like we've been pretty consistent. You know, our amateur shows, it's just MFL really or PFL if they do it. Amateurs kind of fucked up right now, and then pro, they have Prospect, BTC, BFL, and then a couple of Unified, and then they have like 1 or 2 other pro shows that are like really small that don't really happen that often. And like we put guys on every single one, maybe except for Unified, really, just because it's always like kind of a scheduling issue. You know what I mean? But like we're super active. Like I keep my guys on every show. Basically, I'm always like I'm cornering like twice a month usually.
Did you have kind of like experience, especially when like obviously MMA wasn't really legal in Ontario, and so it was obviously like on reservations and all that kind of stuff before?
Yeah, I was from Calgary. I moved here kind of right after all that. But I actually first like kind of won, like I don't Mike might remember this one. I used to throw like Matt Militia, like kind of really small tournaments and stuff like that. I threw the first amateur MMA like in a cage properly, like not on a reserve in Ontario. I'm the one who actually threw that. So
really?
Like, that's like I don't get any credit for that. Like more people should be like thanking me all the time.
Like how did that come to pass? Like how did that even slip under the radar? I didn't even know about that.
Because there's been all types of stuff. Basically, it was a gray area for a long time. It kind of is. So basically, like right now it's illegal again. Like I was licensing my guys or anyone who does it. They don't care if we go other places, but they don't want amateur MMA here. So basically now it's at the thing where we have to get a huge petition going again. Because there was one with like 5K signatures, but we got to get it going and we got to try to figure out what to do here because it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. The only person who kind of has something is that Rohit Seth guy. I think he's trying to come back, but I'm always going to try to just like talk shit about him and make sure his event.
So what is the issue with, I guess, just getting amateur MMA going? Because there's always like there's a show and then like it's illegal and then it's legal and then it's not. Like what's, because like I don't know entirely what to explain it, but like what are the main issues and like barriers?
I've been more involved in the pro scene recently. I kind of was just I kind of stepped away from the amateur scene outside of bringing my guys to those shows like outside the province basically until recently when I was kind of dipping my foot back in the pool and saying like, okay, maybe I'll try to bring an event here. You know what I mean? And then when I did that, it just right away, like the commission was on top of it. So I don't really know fully what's going on right now with them. I just know that it's not fully illegal or illegal, but I know that the thing that keeps happening is all these promoters are like gym owners. They all like have these like political like gains or like snubs against each other. Like when I was just talking shit about that other guy. So basically everybody,
you're like, I'm included in that too. No big deal.
Everybody's kind of, well, no, I'm not included in this, but I mean, anytime there's been traction going, guys will kind of try to for each other to try to like, so that they can kind of get it rolling themselves. You know what I mean? That's why that one dude, if I say, if he is doing an event, I'm not going to support it because he's trying to do it under like the pancration rules. Like they got the PSO, whatever it's called. So they got it for like FILA for pancration or some shit like that. And they're trying to disguise it as amateur MMA. But anytime that guy gets involved, that's kind of the guy who fucks it up every time. So that's why I'm not going to support that. I say we just get a petition going and then try to, get it rolling.
I guess like just do it properly, like instead of just something else.
It's a hard question for me to answer right now because I can't give like a firm good answer. Like I haven't been really as involved in the amateur scene recently. I've been really focused on the pro scene, you know. But yeah, it's all fucked up. I don't see it happening anytime in Ontario, probably for like 5 to 10 years, man. I think amateur MMA here is just not going to go down. And if it is, it's too complicated.
Yeah,
It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's shitty.
Yeah,
So we're not going to get Aaron that second amateur MMA fight.
Unfortunately.
I'm PFL.
No, because it was really like fruitful at one point where there was a lot of different like whether call or small organizations. Obviously, UFC used to come up here as well, and there was so much stuff going on. And then obviously, like commissions and like money got involved, and it's like, nope, we're not doing it anymore.
Exactly. They kind of ruined it. That's exactly what did happen. Everybody was starting for a bit there. We had everybody making shows, and everyone was throwing them in bars in different cities.
Yeah,
right? Like,
it's true. I remember that.
Yeah, they were pumping out for a while there, but nope, that dude fucked it up like he always does.
Yeah, and it's like even like in Quebec, like Quebec, they can't even run a jiu-jitsu tournament either, right? Because that's like part of their whole like.
Their best bet if you want amateur fights is go to MFL in Quebec. Put on the reserves there. The commission here doesn't mind, so you can still get your pro license with those amateur fights. Because to go pro, like Ontario's like the hardest place to get a license, like in the world, maybe. Like it's fucking insane, you know. It's one of the last places that even let UFC come, right, in North America. So, like, you got to get amateur fights to get a pro license, but there's nowhere to do amateur fights, so it's kind of fucked up, right?
Yeah, it is.
But if you go to,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, if you go to MFL though, when they throw it on the reserve in Quebec, Quebec doesn't like it, but Ontario doesn't care because it's not in Ontario. So you can go to Quebec, you can do amateur fights.
They're just like, whatever, it's not here. Who cares? But you got your fights, okay? You're fighting in the like international waters.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. They don't give a fuck if you build your experience outside of province and then come back how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there's anything we can do to help the amateur MMA scene, like let us know. More than happy.
After I'm focused on these fights and a little bit of shit we got going on now, I'll start pumping out the petition and really going through the process again. And when I do that, you guys can blast out the petition too.
Definitely.
Yeah. So how did you kind of like, when you talked about like formulating your school, like did you originally start it as a jiu-jitsu school or was it an MMA school? Like how did you originally start that?
No, but well, basically like I was in London and I was like very active in jiu-jitsu tournaments around this time. When like London had a lot of MMA guys, but like really shitty jiu-jitsu dudes. Like just terrible, awful. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, they so I just went to compete a lot, and then like guys in London, like buddies of mine, I started teaching them jiu-jitsu. Kind of slowly became like its own team, and then it was jiu-jitsu tournaments was the focus. And kind of we're a really small team, you know what I mean? There's like 40, 50 of us, but everybody's a fighter, you know what I mean? Like everybody on the team are a pro fighter. Or like it's all basically like blue to brown belt level, you know what I mean? But it's kind of like Canadian Valley Tudo-esque, you know what I mean? Like we're like a jiu-jitsu focused team, but it's a lot of MMA. I think we're probably the only team that's a jiu-jitsu team, but we're only focused on MMA. You know, like I don't know what other teams do. You know, like we're definitely jiu-jitsu guys though, right? So yeah, just kind of a natural evolution just shifted to it. Like now that I've like make everyone else too.
Yeah.
So initially then, like I guess the question is like, how did you get exposed to like jiu-jitsu initially? Because you said you're in Calgary before. Were you training there and then you moved here? Like what was the process like to get even into like jiu-jitsu initially?
Yeah, basically I just thought I was a tough guy and found out about jiu-jitsu. So, you know, I went into Gracie Baja in Calgary, got manhandled by like small dudes and was like, I'm never leaving this room till I know how to do it. Never did. And then now I'm here running a school. Later.
Fair enough. Yeah. So like when you kind of like were formulating your club, like because there's not a lot of jiu-jitsu clubs in London even now, aren't there?
Oh, there is. London's
now?
Like for in Ontario, man. Like I don't know what small city has had so many UFC vets or UFC fighters come out of it. There's probably like 5 MMA gyms that have like a pro level MMA gyms. There's probably about 10 jiu-jitsu teams.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So like it's a pretty active scene. Like everybody here knows someone who trains or fights. You know what I mean?
Interesting. I had no idea that it was that big.
What's the secret in London then? Like, is it just like the mean streets? Like, why are there so many like MMA and like jiu-jitsu schools, man? Is it all like the bars and everything?
I think maybe it's a lot of like universities, college, shit like that, right? Like a lot of young people, a lot of guys watching sports, and maybe a lot of drunks who need to know how to do it themselves. Who knows?
Hey man, I don't know what that is. Well, London also has like a rich like wrestling history as well. One of our buddies, one of our coworkers at the gym that we do not speak of, who's he wrestled for University of London.
Oh, nice.
Or Western, I guess you could say, but like, you know, he's retired. He ducks us regularly when we try to get him to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, everybody's ducking lots these days.
Everybody's like, you're like, look at me, man. I'm trying to get some fights. Everybody's ducking me.
Yeah, and this fight's gonna be wild too. This guy's got like 3 or 4 times more pro fights than me. He's fought like Elias and some UFC vets. He's fought in Bellator, like the Ontario one. You know, he's got a good experience, so should be exciting.
So lead us into this. Like, you got a fight coming up. What was that process like for getting it? Here we are. When's the fight? Where can we watch it?
I just basically like verbally assault the matchmaker, Rob Beavers, like on a daily basis, just harassing him on text until he has found me an opponent, added me on. Then we're doing a show on Monday. Obviously, they're going to sign me on it, right? And then, yeah, so that's it. And then this guy wants to fight. I want to fight him, and we're going to fight.
I want to fight you. Yeah, well, I want to fight you.
Yeah, this is a sick fight for people to watch because we don't really see, like, on a pro level Canadian scene, we don't see like higher level 205 guys really. Like, all like featherweight, lightweight, like 170, or you know what I mean? And then like 205, you might say see some debut guys are like a bum or like a heavyweight fight. But you don't really see like 205 contender level like fights. Like the winners could go to Dana White Contender Series or Bellator or ONE FC, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, this is like a more like, you don't see them that often here. There's only like 10 or 15 really good light heavyweight pros probably even in the country, you know?
Yeah. So I was going to ask, so are you going up a weight division? Or are you fighting at your normal weight now still, or?
A street fight. I'm basically just rolling up. I'm 203 right now. It's a 205 fight. So that's what
it's from the mean streets of London. Aaron, didn't you know that?
To see.
Some guys just don't like dieting. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like,
I'm like, yeah, I could diet, but I don't mind feeling good, you know? Like, I'm not too concerned. Like, I think everyone's worried to fight bigger guys. I think it's the opposite. I think bigger guys are fucking bums, man. Like, straight up. I think they're not technical. They can't fight off their back. They can't fucking wrestle. They fall the foot sweeps. They're gassed. They're winded and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'm gonna leg kick the fuck out of them, and then then I hold him down and then elbow him, and then he'll just give me a sub probably eventually.
That's it. So that's a game plan live on here. You're calling it.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so. If not, I fucked up. I took off more than I can chew.
Oh shit! Well, this didn't work.
Right? I keep it out of. I never think about what the other guy's gonna do. I'm always like focused on what I'm gonna do. Like, oh, what if people think this, or what if he lands this, or I just always like, yeah, I'm gonna land this. Like, that's all I try to keep my thoughts on. And then sometimes right when the cage door closes, I'm like, what the fuck did I get myself into?
So another one of Aaron's all-time favorite questions. So you're going into an MMA fight, you're stepping into the cage. So what's your mindset, bro?
Yeah, I don't know. That's it, man. I just go with we're gonna see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, you just go with it. Just close the door and let's go.
I'm just gonna no promises.
Great game plan. So what are you gonna do? What's your game plan? I don't know. I'm gonna fucking wing it. What do you think I'm gonna do?
Yeah, all I ever do, man, with everything.
So overall, like MMA wise, sorry, go ahead.
I do boxing and Muay Thai like every day, all day, and like jiu-jitsu all night. Like, I'm like training a lot. Like, I don't really see how like 99% of guys I fight I'm gonna smash right now. It doesn't matter really who they are, because the jiu-jitsu guys are gonna be too much of pussies. I'm gonna outstrike them. The strikers are gonna be bums who can't grapple, and like that's just basically what it
do you know my mindset, bro? Do you know my mindset, bro? I just see red. I start swinging.
I love it.
I love it. That's so overall, like MMA wise, like what's kind of I'm not talking like your game plan for this match, but like what are your plans for the future then MMA wise? Are you trying to get into the UFC, Bellator? Like, are you trying to move up to a bigger, I guess, to like bigger shows? Like, where do you see yourself the next couple of years?
Well, like, to be honest, it's more just like I got a good record, I got a good skill set. I'd rather just like bang out some fights right now, and if I win them, maybe I can like it's not actually as impossible like as people think. It's like it's not out of reach for me to make Dana White Contender Series or Bellator or ONE FC if I got 1 or 2 good wins right now. It's not out of it's not out of grasp, you know. And like I'd rather right now go for it and then be like in my 40s being like, fuck, I was like good, maybe I could have been all right. Like I'd rather
be the guy in the bar like, yeah, well, I could have did that.
I'm already that guy right now. So like like, I'd rather go for it right now, and then if I get knocked out, at least I'll be like, well, fuck, that sucks. I guess not, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm just gonna bang out as many fights as I can this year and stay in camp for a full fucking year and see what happens.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good plan, right? Especially after the last 2 years of kind of inactivity, and then you have the opportunity to do it now.
Exactly, that's the plan. I think this is a perfect fight for it too. Like he's almost journeyman-esque, you know, but he's like fought tough dudes. He's not getting finished. He's definitely. I'm definitely one of his easier fights, and he's one of my hardest fight. You know what I mean? But I think he has been less active. I think I'm like more, even though we're the same age, I feel like I'm more new school. Like I train with younger, more go hard guys. I hope. Like you know, I don't know. And then I don't know. I think I'm just more rounded. Like I got to watch his big power and hooks and size, not. You know, but at the same and experience, he'll have that cage comfort and know how to like kind of pace himself maybe better. Mm-hmm. But I'm like I'm a psychopath, and like and like I'm gonna be throwing elbows and knees and kicks at full power with no regard for either of our safety. And if it hits the mat, I'm almost positive I'm gonna have better jiu-jitsu than him. So like I just think style wise, like as myself, like not worrying about myself. As a fan, I'd be really excited to watch this fight. Mm-hmm. You know.
Awesome. So I guess the question is like, okay, so we talked about like where are you gonna go from there, and like this potential matchup for you, like this is kind of like a test to kind of see where you're at. Like I guess the big scene of things is like if you beat this guy, you basically even said like, hey, you're a match or 2 away.
Yeah, exactly. Seeing what's actually up, like on a higher level, not on a regional level, not just like, you know, fighting someone who's actually traveled around, fought some high level fucking dudes, has like a lot of pro experience. That's exactly what this is. Let's see where I'm actually at. That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, nice.
And like this, then ONE FC, Bellator, or Dana White Contender Series would be sick. And if not, then I'll try to get another win right away. I'll try to get the BFL, BTC, or Prospect 185 or 205 strap. 100%. That'll be the next move. If I win this, you know, I don't know what happen.
Well, you said it yourself, right? You want to stay active. You want to get as many fights as possible and go from there, right? So you win or you lose, you're still going to probably have more fights throughout the year.
Yeah, exactly. I want to like avenge my only loss too to that black belt from Calgary, but like it's like a decision, and I like honestly feel like I won the fight. It's like one of those fights where I'm like lighting up the striking, I'm working for subs off my back, but for 2 of the rounds he's on top of me just like doing this. And I'm like working for something. Like I'm like, I won this fucking fight. Like, you know, I'm like, he's bleeding, I'm fresh still. Like, but he got the decision, and I don't make excuses. Like, coulda, shoulda, woulda. He's on top, I didn't stop it. You know what I mean? I knew the fucking rules. So I'm not gonna make like bitch about it. But I'd like to rematch that just so like I can be mentally undefeated, as they say, you know. But I think he's like I don't think he's gonna stay as active, you know, and I think my record's growing past his, so I might not ever get that.
Yeah. Well, how long ago was that?
Fuck, I don't know, 6 years now.
Okay, so it's been a while since that one.
Yeah, but I think he's like more active now too, and I'm right back at it.
Okay, hey, always potential.
Yeah, like I'm ready. Like we can do that one right after, you know.
Bring in that guy. Fly him on a plane.
Bring him in.
Social media too. Like every like few months, I'll ask him for the last few years.
Do you ever get into these like whether it's through Instagram or like Twitter or Facebook, like calling guys out at all, or you just kind of like going with the flow? And
man, everything I do is like that. Like my social media is a mess, man. I use it wrong. Like everyone else is like in their best outfit on vacation. I'm like having a mental like breakdown and like arguing with everybody.
Usually people use social media to show the best side of them.
I show my flaws. Like I'm always arguing with everybody. That's just what I do.
Yeah, it's very easy to do that. So, question about your training. So, like, are you just kind of sticking to like your technique base and obviously conditioning through there? Or are you adding like strength and conditioning, cardiovascular training, or anything like that?
Yeah, that's kind of like the two changes I made like dramatically is like basically kind of like drinking completely. Like I know like I'm a pro fighter, but like I still go out and party. Like Mike knows I'm a party guy, you know. But I've kind of drinking. Didn't even drink on New Year's Eve. I'm not gonna probably. I don't even if I know will for like years to come. I just like the sober lifestyle better. But the main thing I have changed is strength and conditioning. I never lifted weights in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Never. I hated running. I do that shit every morning now, and like I might be in the best shape of my life right now.
Wow. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, like strength and conditioning is honestly just everything just feels better. I feel like less prone to injury. I feel more explosive. I can like jump knees and shit at 205 when I couldn't do that before, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No gas at all. Like it feels good to just sometimes just see what's in the tank and just sprint your hardest, you know, and just see what the fuck you can do, you know? Gives you confidence too, right? But that was always doing that now, and I'm not really gassed, and I'm like, you know, there's a lot of confidence in that.
That's good. No, for sure. Definitely when you start adding in those different aspects in your game that you probably didn't have before.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I basically do boxing every day in the morning from like 10 to 1, and I do Muay Thai like twice a week, 3 times a week. I drive to Cambridge and then do Muay Thai with Chris Q.
Mm-hmm.
They're just to sharpen up knees and elbows, leg kicks, shit like that. And then I do jiu-jitsu every night at my gym. And then we'll do like shoot boxing, sparring kind of every Friday. That's most of my day. I do privates in between, kind of. So I'll like teach people on my rest time, but normally I just trick them into thinking their private is them learning, but I'm just using them as a drilling dummy.
Come in, we'll do a private. Meanwhile, you're just smashing them
for 45 minutes. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this is going to be like the first kind of fight with this new kind of training plan.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be like, I'm just going to go in and completely shit all over this guy in under 4 minutes. Like, I don't know if it's like going to turn into like a sloppy 3-round, like 2 semi-fat guys. Like, you know what I mean? Or I don't know if it's going to be just like,
it sounds like me and Aaron rolling at the gym that we do not speak of. Two sloppy fat guys all over each other.
I don't know what's gonna happen like that. You know, it could be just like, and he catches a punch, and I just like don't even know, and then I start drinking again.
Hey, over prepare.
Or repair. You never know what can happen.
Yeah, I'm pumped either way, man. This is gonna be good.
Fantastic. I think this is a good time to slip in one of our sponsors. Have you ever been to Spirit Leaf Waterdown, Chris?
What's that?
They're located at 64 Hamilton Street North. They have some great supplements there. Supplements, if you know what I'm saying. All the nice CBD and THC that your heart can desire. Alex and his crew can hook up your entire team. Just make sure it's you just want to make sure you
I'm a big
urinate clean, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Nice.
Pre-fight. So located at Aaron, one more time.
64 Hamilton Street North in Waterdown, Ontario.
Gummies, chocolate, you name it. CBD, C3PO, R2D2. You can get everything you need there.
Sweet, man. I'm going to check that out for sure.
So
you may even put them on your fight banner.
Yeah, probably not, but we'll think about it.
Probably not. They're like, oh, we're going to drug test this guy again.
Do they have an exemption for like cannabis nowadays in MMA? I don't even know.
You can't say the letter C, man. We're gonna get demonetized.
No, that'll be fine.
We don't make any money yet.
Yeah, like I'll blaze right now on the hair. Like I don't care. They never tested me for it. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I'm pretty sure my guy getting's juiced to the absolute shit too. So I don't even know if they're testing for that.
Yeah. No, like, so you have any of your guys wanting to do like whether, especially like if they don't want to do MMA, are they doing like professional like jiu-jitsu shows or anything like that, or some of them not interested in that?
I think we're slowly turning into an MMA team. When there's tournaments when there's tournaments actively happening around Ontario again, it's not like max capacity in like 2 hours, or like it's worth the drive, like even to go. we'll start sending massive teams out again. Like we used to do like 20 to 40 people every time. And again, that's not big when you're comparing it to these fucking massive Toronto teams, but they have like 15 affiliates. I mean, like a small team in London sent 40 dudes to the fucking tournament 2 hours away, you know? Like, and I do that every time until all this shit happened.
Yeah, for sure.
So hopefully soon. I think they're going to start ramping up some tournaments again. I think starting pretty soon in the next coming weeks. So
I think this year is going to be good. I think they're going to have a lot more tournament based. I think the events will be a lot more, just as long as things stay open, I guess.
Which I think they will. I think honestly at this point, like I don't see what else.
Doesn't care.
That's what it is. You had herpes. I had herpes. Aaron always had herpes.
Probably have them.
Probably had it. Probably had it already. No big deal. But no, I think it's just. Sorry, go ahead.
No, nothing. Go ahead. But
no, I think it's just, we're just talking about Aaron and his herpes. But no, I just think I think we're just at the point where it's just like it's things are here to stay, and this is just something we have to deal with going forward. And
at this point, I just want my club normal and not really give a fuck and just like hang up some fucking stickers. So like, looks like I'm all good. Like I don't really, I'm sick of this shit, man.
I just want to train, man. Just let me bang, bro. Just let me bang.
That guy who says that's just fun. Mike Perry on that bare knuckle shit.
He did.
Did he win or did he lose? Or Mike Perry win?
A decision, but I think it was like a bloodbath or something. I don't watch that. I think I saw
what is your thought on bare knuckle fighting? And like, what also I want to get your go ahead.
I think it's retarded. I think it's retarded. Like, no, not like it's not like it's bad. Like, I like boxing more personally. Like, I just like MMA gloves don't really stop the punching power. They just stop all the stitches. Why would I want to have bare knuckle just cutting the fuck out of my face all the time just for like dramatic effect? With the same pay. Like, no thanks. And then I don't know. I'm fine with just boxing. And like, I think bare knuckle boxing just is like a lot of meatheads and like retards are going into it. Or like retired guy, money grab. Like, I don't know. It just seems kind of like, it just comes off sleazy or dirty to me a little bit. But there is skills there. It's still boxing. I do think, hey, if it's boxing with bare knuckle, it's more to the point of the combat. Why not? Let's just, but I'm an MMA guy, man. At the end of the day, I love boxing. I love kickboxing, Muay Thai, I love jiu-jitsu, but I like MMA. I like all of it in one, let's do bare knuckle MMA. I think that's cooler.
I think the whole concept of it's going to be, I think the fights would be shorter because they would people break their hands or they get knocked out faster or whatever. But I think it's just, I don't know, if you're just looking for CTE to go faster, there you should join in. You'll be ready to rock.
Right. Like it's a fucking 2-minute round. So I'm just gonna throw fucking haymakers for 2 minutes. I don't even need. I don't
cardio. What's that? Just start swinging.
Like fuck it all. When you do boxing. And a guy's brand new, like everyone's a good boxer for a minute or two.
Yeah.
Like never boxed and you just come throwing heat at me. I'm like, whoa, fuck, moving away. Like I got it. And then you wear out because you don't have any technique. And now I'm like jabbing you and you can see I'm fresh and you start taking off your gloves. You're like, actually, no, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm like, no. We're going to finish the round, How many times guys do that, right? Because everyone's good for while they're fresh. Even in jiu-jitsu in some cases, kind of, but I think when it's a 2-minute round, it just lets for more retardness. Like they're just like now it's like, hey, fuck it. We don't even need to know how to box. Let's just swing haymakers and grab one tie clutch and just uppercut like a hockey boys for the whole round. But whatever, whatever floats your boat. I'll still watch it. I'll watch any fight.
Yeah.
I love fighting, man. I think fighting's the purest, the best. Like if you walk by a field and you see guys playing soccer or basketball or something, you're never gonna stop and watch it. If you walk by anywhere and you see two people fighting, you're always gonna stop and watch.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be. If you do drunk homeless people, you're gonna watch it.
As the saying goes, there's a hockey game, a basketball game, a soccer game, and a fight on every corner. Everybody's gonna run and go watch the fight.
Every time.
I want to hear your thought. Go ahead.
I think it's for meatheads and retired dudes.
Bare knuckle?
Yeah, I just, like Mike Perry versus the Let Me Bang Bro is like the fucking the poster fight of that shit.
That's so true. It's like two fucking idiots just go at it and see what happens.
Versus the just let me bang bro guy. So Chris, I want to get your thoughts of being a pro MMA fighter. There's been a lot of talks about like fighter pay and like what people are making potentially in the UFC. And there's a lot of people who are even saying like potentially like Chad Mendez, Mike Perry, guys like people like go to fight in like these bare knuckle shows and they're saying like, hey, well, I'm making more in this fight than I have in like the UFC. I don't know what your opinion is or your thoughts on it, or like what's the thought process in like getting paid as like a professional?
Man, I think like obviously it's skewed. Like it's not like boxing where like what 80% goes to the fighters and then 20% to the promoters or whatever. Like MMA, it's like the other way, like 80% goes to the promoter and like 20% split between the fighters. So obviously it's all fucked up. But I think on a regional level, a lot of guys are just really, really stupid. Like you hear, oh, the guy got 500 for his pro debut. Yeah, that guy's a fucking idiot. Like he doesn't know how to do anything. I guess how much I made for my pro debut? 8K. I make 15 to 20K every time I fight. Like still, because I'm not a retard. I literally like I keep saying the word retard, so I don't anyone to be offended. I know some like blue-haired chick is gonna comment on here hating me, but I don't. I'm just speaking.
It's all right. We've been canceled by the left. We've been canceled by the right. We've been canceled by everybody.
This is me PG-13. Like I get canceled all the time, man. Like.
So then. I guess the question is, sorry, go ahead, but like, no offense when I say this, but like, so there's a guy who's like, oh, I made 500, I made $1,000 for my pro debut. And then you make like, let's say 10,000. So what's the difference? Like, what are you doing that's so special versus some guy making their debut?
Exactly. And this is what I show my guys too. Okay. So like you've heard like multiple streams of income and shit like that. So guys want to be a fighter, like, and then they'll say like, if you go to school for any job, you're going to kind of go through that starving artist stage where like, if you're going to go to school to be like anything, basically, you're going to be 4 years taking debt in school and doing this. Maybe you're going to be broke for 4 years as a fighter. If you're really like going towards it, you might have to tough that out. But on top of that is we got to dive into everything. Like what I do is I throw tournaments, I run a gym, I get sponsorships, I do professional fights. I try to get a little bit into everything. So altogether, I'm making good money. I'm never broke, and then, but yeah, like a big thing is sponsorships. You know what I mean? Like I get each sponsor, every logo on my shorts is paying $1,500 every single one.
Okay.
So a lot of guys don't take the time to do that, or they just like ask their broke ass buddy, like while they're like framing, like, hey, do you want to sponsor me? And the guy's like, fuck you, I hang out with you every day, I'm not gonna sponsor you. No, you gotta like build your brand a bit. Like even like we all say marketing. I don't think I'm some fucking Conor McGregor who's like, oh no, you gotta market, get people talking. I'm not saying shit like that, but like a little bit, you know what I mean? Like I'll do every podcast that asks me. I'll share every fucking thing. You'll see in my Instagram, I'm sharing like
oh no, we lost him. Spear Leaf water down.
We lost Chris for a second, so I'm not sure.
Spear Leaf water down 64 Hamilton.
What do we do, Mike? What do we do?
Sponsor us. Somebody sponsor us. Give us some money.
No, actually, we'll send Chris a message right now, but he actually made a really good point, though, especially when he's talking about, building up sponsorships, getting people to work with you before you really kind of get yourself into that whole phase of getting into fight cards, because it's like, that's the thing. He's walking away with a paycheck rather than just, okay, payment from the fight, maybe making $500 for that actual fight. So he made a really good point right there. I'm going to just message him. I don't know, Mike, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think you got to think outside the box. How are you going to get paid? And I think a big thing that you mentioned is sponsorships. So every person that sponsors them, he has a certain amount of making a little bit of money per sponsor. And like before you even go in and fight, you have phone died. I'm good now.
Yeah, it looks like his phone passed away.
He's making all his sponsorship money. He can't even afford a phone charger. It's like you and your fucking poverty internet. We'll get Chris back in here momentarily. Just send him a link, Aaron.
So I know he's got the link.
He's got the link. All right, I'm just going to be messaging him. Come on back.
So what do you call it? Mr. Chris, with all his sponsorship money, we got to make sure that he invests himself in a battery pack for his phone for the next time. So that way he's not losing out on his actual phone anymore. But that would be the next biggest investment. Or so actually, while we're on here, does anybody have any links to a good sponsorship for a battery pack? Because I think that'll be the next sponsorship that we will suggest for Chris is a battery operated power pack for his phone, making sure we get him sponsorships for that. So anybody who's got those links out there, let's make sure we get those to Chris. Now he's going to put those in a sponsorship for his next fight coming up whenever he beats this next guy. And we got Chris back with us now.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Hey,
we're just ripping on the fact that you're talking about, oh, making all this money on a sponsorship, can't even charge your fucking phone.
no, actually, I said to charge when I messaged you guys. No, that's not what happened. My brother called me. He's like, I'm here, let me in. He called and hung up the thing. So don't worry, I'm so rich.
It's okay, guys. I still have money. It's fine. So, all right. So I just want to kind of pick it up where we left off. So we're talking about, I guess, like thinking outside the box, and you know, instead of being that guy who's like, oh, I'm going to make like $1,000 for my pro debut, you know, get sponsors, run tournaments, like do private.
Even a realistic thing. Not everyone has the skill set or like whatever to throw tournaments or do that stuff. But getting sponsorships, that's one thing like early pro debut guys can do. Even amateurs get sponsorships. You don't have to ask crazy amounts. Ask $250 from each guy. Even if you get 2 sponsors, that's $500 plus 500 to show. That's $1,500 right there. You know, and like doing privates too, you can do that. There's little things you can do to kind of compensate, and if not, do that and then work a normal fucking job. Too bad. Like, make it happen, you know, find an excuse or find a way.
Get a job, you fucking bum.
Yeah, no, like that's what I'm saying. Like the people whine, but you can find a way, you know, like if it's not enough money, make it enough money, you know. If like if it is, then you're good, right? But like
what's kind of been the secret for you, for people that are listening to this and they're like, hey, like I want to be an amateur or pro MMA fighter, or even like a professional like jiu-jitsu guy, and I'm looking for sponsors. And like this is a common thing I've talked about with Aaron, with various people that we've had on the podcast, but like I think you've done a very good job at this. Like what's some advice that you would give to somebody who's listening to us? They're like, all right, so how do I go out and get sponsors? Who should I talk to? Like,
man, I talk to everyone. I literally like, I don't know what my persona is, or like if I'm known as an asshole or whatever, but I literally befriend everybody. Like everybody, doesn't matter who they are. I befriend every single fucking person. I make sponsors think like I'm their prize racehorse, man. Like they're in there with me. Like they're coming. I'm going to hang out with them the whole time before and after, you know, like I try to make them as much part of the experience as possible. Like, to be honest, like that's, if it's a work crew guys, I show up. I'm like, hey, you guys should come try a class. They come to a class, 4 of them, they feel jiu-jitsu power, you know, so they roll some purple belts and shit. They're like, this shit's crazy, you know. They watch me hit mitts for a bit. They're like, wow, he's a fucking beast, you know. And then they're pumped then, you know, like get them involved in it. Don't just show up and ask people for fucking money. No one's going to say yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. So when you kind of look at it, like even like, well, most recently, like Jake Paul obviously is like fighting hard on like fighter pay, and then you see a champion like Francis Ngannou not making money. Basically, he's made $600,000 for his last fight, where this guy should be making millions. Do you think this is more of a promoter issue, or is this like the athlete not working on? But it's kind of both.
Yeah, like on a regional level, like a Canadian national level, maybe, you know. On a wider scale, in the bigger picture, yeah, I think so. Like things need to change. Maybe, you know, I think it would take something so drastic to change. I think it's kind of monopolized in a sense. You know, you do want to make every single fighter like boycott to like some type of union at the same fucking time. Like a lot of guys, their pay when they do that, they're not paying any bills. You know, so like, you know, like I think Dana White and the UFC's got a firm grasp on it at this point. You know, it is what it is. So I think you got to make the best of it. If you're not happy making $500,000 a fight 3 times that year.
Yeah.
That's what.
Or build, or like basically what you do, you know, build media, build a presence, and then
like
outside, and then just get sponsors and be valuable.
Look what McGregor did, man. Like same shit. He would just figure out a way, you know, like, and all he did really is just outsource. Did a boxing fight, called out someone, kept going, built it up, did it outside the UFC, made them enough money that they signed off on it too, right? Like there's things I can do. Ngannou should just be fighting Tyson Fury. That's money right there.
That's the money. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I'd love to see that fight. That would be a great fight to see. I don't know if it ever happens, I'll be honest with you, but
I think Tyson Fury is going to piece him up still, but it's still cool as fuck.
oh yeah, I think he pieces him up.
I think I'd take Tyson in that as well, no problem. But you know, it would be good to see everybody get paid in the end.
Yeah, that's where the money's at, right? Boxing on that level.
I think it's been like that for years. I think I don't think that'll ever change in MMA, but
boxing's been around for like a fucking century or longer, you know?
Yeah.
Like MMA 90s, you know,
it's
like
still new. It's still new, right? Like it's not that old, the sport.
No, it really isn't. I want to ask just what, sorry, go ahead.
It's only been mainstream, like on like football, like on Fox and all this shit, like ESPN, like for like
less than 10 years.
Yeah, less than a decade. Like that's how's this supposed to even compete, right? Now it's just kind of
it's still like such a young sport, so hopefully I think over time, like eventually it'll catch up. But I want to ask you one more thing this evening, just something that will be just for fun. Any interesting stories about your about London, Ontario? Why does it have such a bad rap? Is it because you live there? Like what's the situation?
Yeah, that's probably it, man. It's a party, man. It's what it is. The people here party. Everyone parties their trains, and like it's one or the other. You know, it's full of university college town, right? There's a strip here, like fucking just full of bars, man. Just a lot of crazy shit happens here. People visiting. A lot of time it's guys visiting for training, then they party too. You know, like just wild shit. I think it's the same everywhere. I think everybody's just dramatic, man. Like fucking, how many of this is like shitty little cities around Toronto too? You know, like it's who you know where, right? Like you can have fun anywhere. You can fucking know losers anywhere. It's just how it is.
Yeah, exactly. What's the go-to spot now in London, like for like the Western people?
Everyone should just go to my gym. That should be the spot.
That's the go-to spot is London Jiu-Jitsu, located at
575 Richmond Street.
Yeah, and I think that is the perfect location, and I think that's where we'll end it, because that is where we want to be going. We'll be heading over to Chris's gym. Make sure you head out there, and he's got a fight. And what date is the fight on again? Sorry,
March 5th, guys. Make sure, and if you don't get tickets, make sure you rent it on the stream. Click my name so I get paid from it more.
Okay. Can you make sure you send me the link so I can at least advertise it for you guys?
It's that BTC Live site. Just click
BTC
it.
Live? Perfect.
Long as you're renting it, it's good, man. You know, so I'm, you know, that's about it, bro. If that's all we're talking about.
Yeah.
Thank
awesome.
you. It's good to even like have people blasting out my stuff too. And you know, it's all support either way, right?
Yeah, I know for sure.
This is the stuff that helps sponsors, man. I've done like 5 of these in the last like week and a half, you know, and like I shout out sponsors like, oh, can I right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
You absolutely can. Choking Hazard podcast.
Like, Fresh Line, Innovative Electric, Royal Canadian Garden Supply, Live Fit. There's a couple off the top of my mind, but there's a bunch more. If you check my Instagram, they're all over the place there. Big thanks to Innovative Electric, though. They've done crazy stuff for me.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate you jumping on. Best of luck in your fight. We'll definitely be rooting for you. We hope you bash his head in and call it a day. Make sure it work and call it a day.
That's what I'm going to try to do for you guys, man. I'm going to try to win with knee on belly and just verbal abuse.
I love it.
You need to give up. You need to give up. Your mother's a whore.
And knee on belly. He feels bad himself and taps.
Excellent. Perfect. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll hope best of luck. All right.
All right. Cheers, boys. Have a good night. Thanks.
All right. See ya. Bye, everybody.